This is the real story of Hollywood's most cursed production, and the secrets behind the trials and tribulations that were used in making it.
Someplace where there isn't any trouble.
Origins of Dorothy. Even before you dive into the events that transpired while filming the classic movie, the story hides a morbid tale.
Al Frank was a storyteller, and he loved children. And he used to tell bedtime stories to the kids. They would gather around him to hear the stories.
Being so fond of children, Baum absolutely adored his niece, who ended up being the inspiration for Dorothy, but not in the sense you would imagine. Baum's niece, Dorothy Louise Gage, actually died in infancy at just 5 months old on November 15, 1898. Her cause of death was described as a congestion of the brain, which in today's world may have been diagnosed as meningitis or equine encephalitis, both of which involve inflammation of the brain and can be fatal even now. The death of such a beloved person in his life affected Baum deeply, so he named the central character of his novel after her, resulting in the classic Dorothy Gale we have all come to know and love. This upsetting information is only the beginning of hard-to-hear truths surrounding the creation of Oz. Production. Before filming even began, the film underwent significant production challenges, including changes in direction. Initially, Richard Thorpe was set to direct the film, but was replaced due to concerns about the film's direction and the portrayal of characters. George Cukor then briefly took over, making significant changes to Judy Garland's appearance by removing the blonde wig and heavy makeup she was first set to don, instead advising her to be herself. Eventually, Victor Fleming took the helm, but he left before the film's completion to direct Gone with the Wind, leading to King Vidor finishing the remaining scenes, including the iconic Over the Rainbow sequence. The production also suffered from a combination of early Technicolor film requirements and the need for consistent lighting. The combination resulted in extremely hot set conditions, with temperatures often exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This created a challenging environment for all cast and crew members, contributing to the overall difficulties faced throughout the making of the film. Judy Garland. After being cast in the lead role, Judy Garland was forced to lose weight after it was decided her voice was perfect, but her appearance needed to be changed. She endured horrific comments from executives, with some including the studio head Louis B. Mayer, who referred to her as a fat little pig with pigtails.
But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
To solve their problem, they put Garland on an extremely strict diet. Mayer insisted she was only allowed to have chicken soups, black coffee, and cigarettes while filming of the movie took place.
Ouch!
What do you think you're doing?
We've been walking a long ways and I was hungry.
Garland also suffered some physical abuse when she was slapped by the director, Victor Fleming, during the Cowardly Lion's big entrance. Garland was unable to stop herself from laughing while filming the introductory scene. Unable to make her giggling stop, the director took it upon himself to make it stop. Fleming took Garland to one side and slapped her on the cheek. He then told her, "Now go in there and work."
Shame on you!
What did you do that for? I didn't buy them.
After the incident, Fleming felt so bad about his actions that he even went around asking crew members to punch him in the face. Garland responded to this by kissing him on the nose to show that she forgave him.
My goodness, what a fuss you're making. Well, naturally when you go around picking on things weaker than you are.
Possibly the worst thing to come out of the film's production was Garland's addiction troubles with amphetamine. They were provided to her by her own mother, who thought they would help boost her performance.
She was chemically trained as a kid to take a pill to go to sleep and take a pill to wake up and go to work.
The studio also wanted her on amphetamines to aid with her weight loss, as well as to knock her out, so she would sleep for small periods, only to be woken up again and given more pills, and being forced to work for 72 hours straight.
This was a real, truly live place. And I remember that some of it wasn't very nice.
The Tin Man. The Tin Man also had his fair share of issues.
And the original actor who played the Tin Man, after 2 weeks of working, he actually had to quit because he was dying of poisoning from aluminum.
The original Tin Man was replaced due to a severe allergic reaction to his costume's makeup.
And I was standing over there rusting for the longest time.
Buddy Ebsen and Ray Bolger were originally cast as the Scarecrow and Tin Man, but Bolger wanted to play the Scarecrow instead, so convinced the studio to let them switch roles.
Then they took my chest out and they threw it over there.
Ebsen, now set to play the Tin Man, went in for a costume test, but proceeded to have his reaction once the makeup was applied, and was subsequently hospitalized.
They were actually grinding up aluminum, putting it into powder and putting it on his face, and it was slowly getting into his lungs.
Noting the seriousness of his condition, it was decided that he would be replaced by Jack Haley, the man we all know as the Tin Man.
Now I know I've got a heart, because it's breaking.
The Lion and the Scarecrow. The Cowardly Lion may have brought laughs to many, but his experience was no walk in the park either.
And the actor who played the lion had so much makeup on his face that they would not allow him to eat food, so he just couldn't eat.
The costume's design materials made his time in character a nightmare.
And apparently his costume was actually made out of real lion hair. It was super heavy, so it was even hard for him to breathe.
Considering a lot of the film he spends dancing, the experience is sure to be one he'd remember.
Put 'em up. Put 'em up.
The Scarecrow didn't make it out unscathed either, as he suffered physical pains from his own costume also.
And the actor who played the Scarecrow actually has permanent scars all over his face from the prosthetic and makeup that he had to use for the Scarecrow.
Margaret Hamilton, the Wicked Witch. Despite her evil nature, the woman behind the iconic villain was no such thing. Unfortunately, her time on set would have you feeling otherwise. The toxicity of Margaret Hamilton's makeup meant she was only allowed liquids while filming, not an ideal diet for the long working days. Adding to her misery, she also suffered a horrific injury while filming.
Well, my little pretty, I can cause accidents too.
A scene in which her character disappears in a cloud of smoke and fire. The elevator that she was meant to transport the actress below set malfunctioned, trapping the actress close to the pyrotechnics display.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog too.
This caused her to suffer terrible burns on her skin and face, all while the cameras continued to roll.
And the actress who played the witch actually suffered second-degree burns from an explosion that happens in the movie. You can actually see the explosion happen where she actually gets burned, and her hair and her clothes caught on fire.
Hamilton's stunt double Betty Danko also found herself injured when the pipe beneath her broomstick exploded, sending her hurtling into the air, which caused a 2-inch deep wound in her leg. This wasn't the last of the on-set accidents, as the actors behind the flying monkeys also went home in worse shape than they got there. They faced dangerous working conditions throughout all their scenes in the movie, and during the forest scene, they were suspended by piano wires, some of which snapped, causing the actors to fall and sustain significant injuries. Asbestos snow, probably one of the most infamous tales from the set of Oz, is the truth behind the snowfall in the poppy field.
Something with poison in it, I think. With poison in it.
The snow scene in the film was actually asbestos. This was an old Hollywood trick as it is fireproof and looks just like the real thing. Unfortunately for the actors, it is known as a cancer-causing substance. There is, however, no confirmation if it caused any of these actors any issues, but the trick is no longer used in movies. Munchkins, probably one of the most surprising tales from the production, is that the Munchkins were out of control.
It's all right. You may all come out and thank her. Come out, wherever you are.
Garland's ex-husband said in the past that some of the male actors playing the Munchkins would regularly show up to the set hungover, then proceed to behave extremely unprofessionally. They enjoyed giving Garland a hard time, and even put their hand up her skirt.
Got to verify it legally to see, Lucy, if she is morally, ethically, spiritually, physically.
They would also spend all their time after work in bars, then winding up in jail. Because of their being essential to a significant scene in the movie, the studio had to bail them out, until it got so bad that they assigned someone to watch over them. They may seem like all-round problem causers, but the pay divide between themselves and one of their furry co-stars would lead anyone a little crazy.
And the dog Toto actually made more money daily than the Munchkin actors made the whole movie.
The most horrifying rumor is that the Munchkins had such a hard time making the movie. One can even be seen in the background of a scene hanging themselves. It was, however, later found out that this was just a rumor, and it was actually a crane brought on set from the Los Angeles Zoo. Auntie M, one of the few actors who seemed to have a normal filming experience, the Auntie M actress Clara Blandkick, went on to end her own life.
What's all this jabber-wopping when there's work to be done? I know 3 shiftless farmhands that'll be out of a job before they know it.
By the 60s, she was in her 80s, and her health had began to decline, so she chose to take her own life.
Dorothy, dear, it's Aunt Em, darling.
Annie, it's you.
Thanks for watching this episode of Humanity. Be sure to subscribe for more.